the chilling murders at Gilgo Beach, unraveling the Rex Heurman case and its connections to other serial killers. You're about to walk through one of the most disturbing modern cold cases in the U.S., the Gilgo Beach murders on Long Island. And lately, the case has surged back into the spotlight because Rex Heuermann is now at the center of the investigation. Auditory Bursar, 35, dressed sharp and friendly, keeps the mood grounded as you trace what's known, what's alleged, and what's still being argued in court and by investigators. The big question hanging over everything is a scary one. Could Gilgo Beach be connected to other notorious serial killer cases? Let's untangle the timeline and the reasoning without turning speculation into fact. Background on the Gilgo Beach murders. Gilgo Beach sits along the south shore of Long Island in a stretch of coastal wooded land that can feel remote even in daylight. For years, that mix of sand, brush, and isolation made the area a place where investigators and locals feared the worst. The case began to hit headlines after several bodies were discovered in and around the same general area, beginning in 2010. The way victims were found and the fact that more than one person appeared to be involved turned routine searches into an escalating public nightmare. It also forced police to confront a painful truth. When bodies are scattered across a landscape like that, it can take time to connect the dots. Early on, detectives faced classic cold case obstacles: limited leads, the passage of time, and the difficulty of matching evidence across cases that were already separated by years and geography. Still, each discovery left behind clues that could later be revisited as science, databases, and investigative techniques improved. Unveiling Rex Heerman. Rex Heurman's name became central when investigators tied him to evidence they believe connects him to these murders. At the heart of his suspicion is what prosecutors say they found in links between him and the case, evidence that is meant to connect a specific person to the broader pattern police were tracking. It's important to stay careful with wording here. The case centers on allegations and charges, not certainty for every detail that the public might hope to solve overnight. But law enforcement reactions made it clear that detectives weren't just looking in a vague direction. They believed they had enough to bring attention to one man and then pursue the case through the legal system. Auditory Bursar nods along with the seriousness. This isn't a mystery book. It's a real investigation, and the facts matter more than the guesses. Connections to other serial killers. Now for the spooky part. Could Gilgo Beach connect to other serial killer cases? In true crime land, it's tempting to stack similarities like puzzle pieces. Same region, similar victim profiles, similar dumping behavior, similar timelines. Experts and criminal profilers often explain that serial offenders can show patterns, but patterns aren't proof of connection. A similar scene can come from entirely different minds, different motives, and different behaviors, even if the outcome looks the same to outsiders. What investigators typically do is compare geography and travel, including where victims were found versus where someone might have operated. Time patterns, like whether crimes cluster in ways that suggest a single offender. Behavioral details, meaning the signature of how victims are handled or where remains are placed. Auditory Bursar keeps you steady here. Similar doesn't automatically mean connected. Confirmation bias is real. Psychologists who study offender behavior often note that people can mistake resemblance for identity. Still, they also acknowledge that some killers demonstrate consistent habits. That's why authorities, when warranted, may examine whether other cases in the wider region share enough overlap to justify deeper review. As of now, the public should treat links as a developing area, not a settled conclusion. The investigation timeline. Cold cases don't move in straight lines. They stall, revive, and sometimes explode forward when new evidence becomes usable. In Gilgo Beach, the timeline stretches back to the initial discoveries in 2010 and the long years that followed. For a while, detectives worked to preserve and revisit leads, and they used re-examination of evidence as tools improved. Over time, investigators gained opportunities to compare details against broader databases and to connect separate threads that had once felt unrelated. Then, as new leads came in, attention narrowed toward Rex Heerman. The case shifted from maybe we'll figure it out someday to we have enough to press forward. with law enforcement and prosecutors pursuing the matter through formal legal steps. Even now, the process isn't just about what the public wants to know. It's about what can be proven in court. Public and media reaction. When the name of a suspect becomes public, the noise level rises fast. You'll likely see people divided into two groups: those urging patience and due process, and those rushing to connect dots online. Media coverage plays a huge role here. Headlines compress complexity into something easier to digest, and viral clips can make uncertainty look like certainty. At the same time, the attention can also bring renewed awareness, helping keep pressure on investigations and encouraging anyone with relevant information to come forward. Auditory Bursar sums up the feeling many viewers have: fear mixed with fascination. It's the kind of case that stays in your head, they say, because it shows how long evil can hide. Conclusion. Solving the Gilgo Beach murders matters most for the people who never stopped living with the loss, the victims' families, friends, and communities who carry questions every day. Whether there's a confirmed connection to other serial killer cases is a question that may require years and careful evidence before anything can be stated with confidence. Until then, the healthiest approach is curiosity with restraint. Follow verified developments, not rumors. And if you're thinking about it right now, good. Your instincts to ask what's real are part of being a responsible viewer. What do you think? Could there be real links between Gilgo Beach and other cases? Or is the similarity mostly coming from patterns people want to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want more true crime insights and updates that keep it factual and human, subscribe to your channel and stay alert out there.